So this week we checked out the latest gaming sensation, post-apocalyptic cyberpunk cat adventure game, Stray. So, Swinny, do you want to read out your little pun line here? I missed it.
No, I only wrote it for you, and you decided to throw it
No, I
to
missed
me,
it. No, because I was putting
Is
it
it a
off.
shallow catastrophe? Or did it whisker us away?
Oh, very, very nice
you,
writing,
Mike.
Swinny.
Thank you.
Very good.
Oh, yeah. Cat puns. Very original.
What? I like cat puns. Cat puns are awesome.
Catastrophe. Came up with that all myself.
Yeah, or did it whisker us away? That's a good line.
I didn't hear the whisker one before.
I
That's
am
pretty good.
offended that you put it in italics, like as if we're not going to understand it. But
I got to try to emphasize, It's like if
Thanks,
you haven't
Dad.
noticed at the start of the show, I started bolding some letters to get you the whole Ron Burgundy of games.
it worked, though. It worked. So, status, we all have played this game.
We have indeed.
Swinny and I have beaten it. Mike, have you?
I have not beaten it. So, not that we ever give spoilers on the show, but I have not beaten it. And even though I think I will love it the most.
Yes, I think that's true.
And I do so far.
So, before we jump into the various aspects of the game, do you want to give the overall impression, Swinny?
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a game that when I first saw it, I can't remember if it was revealed as part of State of Play, but I know that it was a major feature of one of them. That I thought, oh, this looks cool, but also like I didn't go, oh, I have to play this game, whatever, and like it, But I guess when I actually played it as part of PS Plus, because it expires today, I think. So I had like 2 days left. And it's not a long game, so I could complete it in that time frame.
Pretty sure I heard.
I was really, really, really surprised and pleased by it. I thought it was a really fun adventure, and there's some really great parts to it. There's some parts that are like maybe could have been expanded on a little bit, but I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we should correct just a couple of things. We both clocked the game. Sorry, I think I said beat it. Sorry,
Thank
it's
you.
very confusing. Sorry.
Clocked. Get the terminology correct.
And I also
There's a
like
correction for an audience of 2. That one.
No. The chat actually literally said clocked. So I had to correct the record. The other one is I love how Swinny goes spoilers, but it's like in the same breath. He says spoilers. The game is short.
You'll live.
You got no time. Yeah. So overall, like, look, I think one thing for me is I'm always banging on about games are way too long, right? So I almost felt like I have to buy this game. So I bought it. It's like 40 Australian dollars. I think I got a discount code to get cheaper, eShop money or whatever for PlayStation. And what is that, about 30 US dollars? It's super short, like in the relative grand scheme of, modern video games. Like, so much of this game I actually love, but I do not love this game. Now, I really like this game. Like, I think it's a very solid game. I can understand how people really love this game. I definitely don't love it.
I love
right?
cats.
But there's heaps of elements to the game that I really, really love. So it's a funny one for me. But how about you, Mike? You're like, how many hours into the game are you?
Look, less
like
than
an
an
hour or
hour, I
something?
reckon.
Yeah.
So don't take my word for it. But I have to say, it's probably the hardest Souls-like game I've played so far. Very surprised by that. Look, the reason I didn't play it as much as I wanted to is, first of all, I obviously bought it too, so to speak. But the way I bought it is I just upgraded to PS Extra for $22 for whatever the rest of the membership is, and then you can play the game for free. So I thought you had extra or something. I guess
I've got Essential.
realize.
So you need to have
So I
extra
had
or deluxe
Essential.
or premium.
Yeah, that's right. So if you got extra or deluxe, I had Essential, and then when I went to look for the game on the app, it said you can get it for extra, and I'm like, all right, let's see what that is. And I tapped the button, and it goes, for $22 you can upgrade to extra. I'm like, it's no brainer. The game is $22. Hell yeah! So I got it. Now the reason I didn't play too much is because I'm playing it with my girlfriend, and it's not super hard. But this weekend it was really hard to align our schedules properly. But she's, massively into cats, as am I. So as a result, we have to play it together. And so far, we've really loved, although it gets a little scary at times, I gotta say, a little scary at times. And I felt really bad for the kitty. But so far, I love it. It's so unique, so different. The concept is awesome. Controls were really cool. Looks beautiful. Love the little sort of touches in it, sort of the humor, the atmosphere. It's such a unique experience. Like I don't it's relatively rare that you come across a game that just makes it feel really unique and really captures you and captivates you in the way it's done. So far I love it. I'm really looking forward to playing more.
Just before we go on, just on the PS Plus element, so this game is available as part of the second and third tier of PS Plus now, which is also kind of
Fourth.
gives me the shits because I reckon maybe it would have been the base tier previously. Who knows? But for me, one quirk of the system, Mike, because for you it's $22. For me, when it goes, do you want to upgrade? It's $180. And I was like, what
That's
the
weird.
fuck?
Why?
No,
Yeah.
because my membership goes so long into the future
Oh,
that
yeah,
I have to
'cause
upgrade for every, you know,
yeah.
this is the problem
Yeah,
that other
yeah,
people
yeah, I
had
remember
where
we
it's
talked
like
about that, yeah, yeah, yeah.
$1,000 to upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So I was like $180 to upgrade. Because if it was like $30, I would be like, yeah, maybe I'll do it and I'll try the PlayStation 1 games just to shit on it again. But alas, yeah, it's just so much.
No
It's kind of
brainer for me.
strange that you can't maybe upgrade for a month or so and then go back to the old tier. I don't know. It's tricky, but
Let's get back. Let's not stray away from the.
yeah, let's not let the
game at
conversation stray. Look, like again, I think it's well worth the money, even like for the experience. It's cool. I agree. I think from the
it is.
experience, you can see elements of lots of other games, but because you have the cat as your perspective, it does shape the world and what you're doing. And it's actually in this game, Swinny, I don't know if you found this, but if you jump between games, going to regular style FPS and all these other kind of style games, and then go to this, it's very almost jarring, the perspective. You're like, oh shit, like I'm so low to the ground, like everything's so big,
Well,
you know?
I literally played this in one session, so
Wow.
I didn't.
Damn.
Well,
Swinny's a
it's really
gamer.
captured you,
It's not
though.
very
He's a
long,
gamer.
so
No, it's
you
not
can
very long,
definitely
but
do
it's
that.
Still, it's I struggle to sometimes play for 4 or 5 hours in one block nowadays.
Yeah.
It was three and a half hours for me.
Wow.
So while
that's
that is
quick.
still a long play session for a lot of people, especially if they've got kids and stuff. For a lot of people, this is easily something they can clear in a night if they just sit down.
They
and don't
can, but
realise
like I spend so much time just meowing in the first area at the other cats. Like I probably spent 15 minutes just meowing at the other cats and looking around, and then we're chatting to my girlfriend about cats, and then I won't spoil anything, but there's a part where you get something put on you. That's exactly what happens with a cat when you put a harness on a cat. If you've ever put a harness on a cat, they
The
do
footage
exactly the
footage
same.
literally has the cat wearing a harness,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't worry
Yeah.
about
It's
that.
Pretty early in the game, that part.
Yeah.
It's pretty early then. Yeah, cool. So it's pretty cute
Yeah.
though that they
I-
have these little touches that are so real.
Yeah, I love the detail in the environments they put in this game. Like this game is absolutely gorgeous. I think it is just like feast for the eyes. And considering that it's not a big studio, this is
No,
a
indie.
AAA
Totally
release. I think it's awesome, and there's just so much. Again, like there's so many things you can climb on that just have no purpose with what you need to do in the game. It just allows you to climb up there and knock stuff off a shelf, for instance.
Did you guys do a lot of that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
stacks
as
of
much
that.
as I could because I feel like I'd be an
Yeah.
asshole cat if I was a cat.
The one thing, and like obviously the cat animation's fantastic and stuff. I think, and this is a small knock. It's more that like if I'm talking about the graphics, it's the only thing that I didn't think they nailed 100% was actually the cat's face.
Oh, I'm fully supporting you here, Swinny. Go on.
Because a lot of like you see the cat
Preach.
and like a
Preach.
lot of the animation like is really great and very cat-like, very realistic. But then there's times, especially in cutscenes, where you'll see the cat's face and it just kind of breaks the immersion a bit. I just feel they didn't nail that part of it.
So I totally agree. Because just because it's on the topic, like let's like go into like the art and stuff like that as well. But the game looks gorgeous. There's so many cool features of it. I love the style. Like I love the sort of the robot creatures and entities in the world, and how many like the game wears its inspiration on its sleeves like big time, right? Like Apple and all this other kind of stuff, like a Macintosh. It's like super obvious and it's cool. I like the way they do it. But there's many times in this game where I was like, and just to be clear, like I think this studio did a great job. Really, really enjoyed the game. Not knocking it. I highly recommend it. But man, sometimes I'm like looking at the cat. I'm like, this is like a PS3 high level graphics cat. Like the movement of the cat is perfect, but the model and the fur and everything, and I actually, Swinny, actually had to go through the settings. I'm like, maybe it's in performance mode and I have to go to quality mode to get like better quality fur or something, or just a better looking cat, because it looks very. I agree, man. It looks kind of shit, to be honest. Like so much so that I felt like, wow, okay, this cat looks kind of average, right? Like it's
I don't
one part of the game.
disagree.
I feel like they if they somehow outsourced it and got like, some more advanced modeling for it, it would make a big difference in my opinion, actually.
Part of it could be the lighting used in this as well. But I have to admit, yeah, okay, I noticed there were certain parts of the facial features, especially having cats, that weren't quite right, but I enjoyed it so much that it never felt like a distraction so far. Maybe it will later, but so far, not once did I really think, oh, this is distracting or it's annoying.
It's a minor quibble. I'm not saying it's a major
Same,
thing. It's
same.
just part of the presentation, because otherwise, like, I love everything else about the way this game looks and animates and stuff.
Same. I think this game looks better than some AAA games.
Oh, totally.
So like
Really good
it's
for
not
that
knocking the overall game. It's just totally agree that one element. There's a few cutscenes, Swinny, and they're all like real time, where it like zooms, like really focuses in on the cat. And I was just like, nah, probably shouldn't do that. Like maybe back out a little bit. The cat doesn't look good enough to do that. So
But speaking of presentation, I think one thing that I noticed straight away, in a positive way, is the game, at least at the very start, guides you visually of where you need to go extremely well, without annoying tutorials where it's like, go here, go here. But it's still kind of, you can go here, with neon signs, with clearly sort of the color that captures your eyes. I found that really interesting, that I consciously realized, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I consciously sort of realized that it highlights points of interest like that. And it feels organic within the world, as opposed to feeling completely artificial with waypoints and shit like that. So I thought that was really cool the way they did that bit.
One of my favorite things about this game is the way it uses like the PS5 controller. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
DualSense.
I guess PS4 would be the same, in the sense that like you can feel and hear the cat purring through the speaker of the controller. Like stuff like that is just really cool. Those nice touches that not everyone's obviously going to experience if they're playing on PC, or potentially if it comes to other platforms later. But I just really like that. Just those touches, I think, just really kind of, they're those little moments that just make the game feel special.
and that's actually the element of the game I almost love the most, that they've added all these little points of detail and interaction and just fun things. It's like, oh, why don't we do this? Like there's one part where you can and it's not a major spoiler or anything, it's just the interaction element. You can jump up on one of the robot dudes and it's like a whole scene that they've built for it, like where the cat will sit there and then his face will turn into like a love heart. And it's just like, you don't need to do that, but to me that's like a lot of love, care, attention in the game. And again, like just such a cool part of it. That DualSense stuff obviously is exclusive to PS5. You probably see it a lot more later, Mike.
Well, but the speaker stuff would still happen in the PS4 though, wouldn't it?
no, I don't think it does.
Really?
I think it's only
Even though they've
PS
got the speaker on the controller. That's
Pretty
weird.
sure that's what I'm reading, because it's all the vibrations and the sounds and everything. They all did that. They all built that around specifically the DualSense. I think it was one of the reasons why they wanted to do it on the PS5 rather than other platforms. So yeah, like that part of it's cool. How'd you find the music, Swinny, and like the sound design, Escape?
I mean, the sound design sounded fine, but I honestly don't remember any of the music. So I don't know if that's what you're insinuating, but I don't remember it. So
It's not iconic in that sense.
Yeah,
then.
it's definitely not. I don't think it's kind of like that. I don't even know how. It's almost like just exactly what I think you'd expect if you said neon, Hong Kong Kowloon, gritty cyber cat kind of thing. It's like the music.
Cyber cat.
What is that AI machine that you can just type things in? Like a crayon or something like that, isn't it? Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like a bit auto-generated. I wasn't like the biggest fan of that, but and then like overall for you, Swinny, like given that you've clocked the game as well as I have, lengthwise, story-wise, how'd you find it ultimately?
look, I don't think it didn't outstay its welcome for me. So it was a good length. I do think I think the price, if I paid it full price,
Which I did.
I'd probably maybe want a little bit more meat to it. Maybe like I didn't do all the side activities, but I did a bunch of them, and then I saw kind of what is involved in them. I think maybe there could be a little bit more meat on its bones if if you were to like if I was paying full price for it, basically. As a game that I played as part of the PS Plus service, I had no issue at all with the length. It was great. So
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's like, I've never really been a believer that you need to just pad games out, given that, hey, I've spent $80, so I want to get 20 hours out of this. That's just me personally.
I know. I just think it's a bit short for that price, my opinion. But that's
Yeah, no, I just have a different opinion. Like, I totally respect that. That's how you feel about it. I think for me, it's just that I didn't love the game, right? So then if you don't love a game, any game kind of starts to be a bit like, oh my God, there's so many other games out there that I could love that, it all feels like, hey, I've spent too much. But again, I do want to support games like this, like where they try to challenge the mainstream of gaming from being... like honestly, Swinny, I was just, when I was playing this game, one part of me was thinking about Ubisoft because some of the devs used to be at Ubisoft. And I'm like, man, if Ubisoft was involved in this, number one, the UI would be like over the top, right? There'd be so much shit and direction point to where you need to go and way more overemphasis of stuff like that. And then I feel like they would just pad the fuck out of this game. Like there's a little bit of that I found. So I don't know if you found that. Like sometimes it was like, collect this, give this to that, do this, give that to this, and it's like
I think the game needed more of that, to be honest.
Oh, see, yeah, but this is why you're a Ubisoft man and I'm not.
No, I'm not a Ubisoft man. I just think the game needed a bit more content to it. In my opinion,
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I could see
like
the
I was
structure
okay
of how
again.
you
Like
could
I
build
was
it.
okay with the length of the runtime of like just playing through the story.
Yeah,
I just feel for the asking price, it's a bit much.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think I like it. I actually personally didn't want it to be longer. I was like, meh, I felt like this is a perfect length for this game. The one thing last thing I wanted to mention and then throw it to you guys is, I actually really, and you wouldn't have seen this yet, Mike, but Swinny, I actually really loved that there were certain mechanics in the game that they introduced. And it was almost like a little bit like a Nintendo thing where here's a mechanic, you can do this in the game, and then it just goes away. And they bring other things in. And I'm like, I actually loved that. I was kind of, I think the obvious answer is like, oh, it's a build up. Like you get more and more powers or more abilities. This is very light spoilery territory. But they really didn't do that. And I actually love that about this game. That was almost one of my favorite things about it.
yeah, no, I think I was really happy with that as well because it allowed them to also build a story around that stuff. So it's not like power creep, where you're constantly having to give more and more harder obstacles because the character is getting more and more abilities. You can scale it back and bring it back down to, I guess, like almost where you were at the start of the game,
Yeah,
that
no,
kind
for
of
sure.
thing. So.
But any closing comments from you guys?
I do have a question. Is there an achievement for scratching rugs?
Yes, there's like an achievement for scratching everything, I think, in the game. Like that can be scratched.
Okay.
And then, yeah, trophies, we should say. Swinny's giving us
Trophies,
glaring at us.
I was literally not even looking at the screen. I don't know what you're talking about.
He had to look away from it. He had to avert. He had to avert his eyes from the screen because he was so angry. He had to stare out to the side. How dare they say achievement? It's
just let you
trophies.
Boil in your own.
No, I didn't
stupidity
mean to
with
make a
that
joke. I actually didn't mean to make a joke or anything, but no, because it's interesting. Not all cats do that. My cat doesn't.
What, get achievements or
no trophies. My cat doesn't scratch anything other than the scratching post sometimes, whereas his sister scratches the hell out of everything. When she came to my place for a few days, I found her hanging on my clothes in the cupboard and stuff like that, like literally just hanging on to them. That's the kind of shit that she does. Yeah,
that's actually
and it was
awesome.
really funny. Actually, I'll just quickly finish with that story. She also, I couldn't find her. I was like, where the hell is she on the second day? I'm like, what the hell? Like, I cat-proofed the entire house, I thought. Could not find her anywhere. And then I realized the only place she possibly could have gone to is she jumped onto the fridge and then went behind the cavity that goes into the roof space. So I'm like, shit, I'm in trouble now. I was supposed to mind her. She ended up falling through the vent in the laundry. There's a little vent hole. She was trying to get back in. She literally just like bang, fell through it and came back inside. Anyway, so that's a little story about cats. at my place.
And there concludes our review of Stray.
Good game. Play it.
On to another game that we're playing this week.